بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعن آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فألهمها فجورها وتقواها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Shams, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was speaking about the nafs, the soul, He said that He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inspired the soul with wickedness and also with righteousness. Today, inshallah, we are going to talk and we are going to discuss about the meaning of this ayah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Now, my dear brothers and sisters, every soul has feelings and emotions. Every single one of us, whether that be someone who is very righteous or someone who is not so righteous, whether it be an adult or a child, whether it be someone that is educated or not educated, whether they have a disability or not, whatever kind of disability, it could be a mental or a physical disability, as long as they're a human being, they have feelings and they have emotions. We all have emotions. Now, our emotions are obviously the reason why we love one another, the reason we feel happy with one another, the reason we might feel disappointed or we might disagree or we might feel sad at times. However, one dangerous thing about our feelings and emotions is that they could often lead to ungratefulness. They could often lead to other things that could eventually lead us into sins. The use of the word fujuraha in Surah Al-Shams is a very significant usage. So the word is very important here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have said, that there are many other words for, emotions and feelings other than fujur. But the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word fujur, which comes from fajr. Fajr means someone that's very wicked, someone that's very sinful, someone that's very not so righteous. Now, the word also comes from infijar, which means explosive. So the word when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says fujuraha, He's referring to an explosive feeling. For example, anger, sadness, lust, and so on. These are some very, very powerful and dangerous feelings that can lead someone to do sinful things which they would have never imagined they could or would be doing. An example is that some people, again, billah, could end up harming, their dear brother or their dear sister. Some people even harm their own children because, they are angry. It is a very powerful thing, and we must learn how to combat it and how to deal with it. Now, many of us have these feelings on a regular basis. Perhaps we have been under extreme pressure and we are at the limit of our stress. Maybe we have been in many stressful situations recently, and perhaps your anger is at its maximum. Perhaps you've had an argument with, your partner, perhaps you've had an argument with your children, or maybe your colleagues, or whatever it may be. Maybe someone dear to you passed away recently, or maybe something caused you some upset. Perhaps a business deal that you could not complete. Perhaps it occurred as a result of you being let go from your place of work. Every single person has their own stresses. Every single person has their own reasons that drive these explosive feelings, these fujur. Now, the idea is that something happened and it is causing you to have these explosive feelings and feel very uneasy about life. Now, there is a good way, there is a nice way to relieve these feelings without delving into the sins. And this is where the comforting part and the reassurance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes, where He said, after He said, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا, which means He gave the soul, He gave the human being fujur, as in these explosive feelings that lead to, sins. He said, subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said that He gave these souls, He gave these nafs, taqwaha wa taqwaha. So He's telling us that He has given us the power and ability to control or to deal with these feelings or to deal with these emotions. Remember, my dear brothers and sisters, that the next time you feel uneasy about something or you feel your sadness can't possibly go away, or perhaps someone is trying to infuriate you, whether that be, your son, your spouse, for the married people, whether that be perhaps your parents, for some of us, whether that might be, your colleague, your boss. Remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you these feelings, but He has also allowed you to control them. Do not allow your feelings and emotions to drive you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with sins. Don't let your anger be the reason you do something which you will regret for years and years to come. Don't let your sadness be the reason you become ungrateful towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that has granted you every single thing that you have today. I would love to help you deal with them and to get closer, to use these feelings to actually get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rather than to get further away. The way to do this is that the next time you feel sad or angry or anything, take a step back and really reflect. Is it worth your sadness or your emotions or your anger? If your answer to that question is yes, and you feel like that is a very significant thing to you, then always remember the following phrase, Allahu Akbar, which means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater. He's greater than, you. He's greater than me. He's greater than every single creature that exists. He's greater than these emotions. He's greater than, any sort of idea. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater. When you say these words, Allahu Akbar, do not say them without actually contemplating, without actually reflecting about the meaning of them. Now keep repeating the word and you will find ease quicker than you would imagine. Astaghfirullah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.